I think the best thing here is the fussy edging. Is it that, or fussy cutting?
Hello, it's Ileana. Thank you so much for joining me today for another process video, very close to the last one I've just posted, but I'm on a roll. I seem to be nailing this editing thing. I hope so anyway, to your satisfaction. And it's a series of pictures that I took of little Lorens when he was just a few months old back in May 2009. He's now 7. And actually, in the meantime, we have Lorens playing with one of these pictures. I pulled them out and I said, "Oh, Lorens, look, that was you." And so he's doing something in the background while I'm scrapping these. And I've got this idea in my mind to kind of do what I've seen in the printed media, where they reveal little parts of maybe limbs or just a little peep of the head. Obviously, I've gone a bit to town with it because I'm experimenting, but next time you look in a magazine, you'll see that that's one of the things that they do to kind of make the pictures pop a little into the foreground, and I kind of like the idea of doing that today. So I've done it with 2 of the pictures, but one of them I've just squared off, and I think the pictures are about 3 by 3 inches. They're in a series of 3. The sketch calls for it, and it's a special sketch challenge from National Scrapbooking Day, and the marvellous Laura Rumble produced this sketch. Well, I say these because the next layout I do uses another of her sketches from this week. I'm really impressed by her skill at putting these together, and she always comes up with marvellous layouts anyway, always perfectly balanced. And as we saw actually on that weekend, everybody that used the sketch came up with these fantastic, beautiful layouts, and all with their own interpretation, and this is mine. So the kit I've used here is Like Forever, and it was from the last month, and I think we had a lot of pink paisley papers, and I'm showing you the Page Evans there, number 6, just the branding strip I think it was for that one, and then the actual lime green piece. So those are the 2 pattern papers I use at the top there for the top border, and I've pulled out a chevron washi tape from my stash that I'm also going to use. So I'm just going to back that trio onto the lime paper, which I think looks really nice against it. I know it's different shades of kind of greeny blue, but I kind of still think that works. So what else I do is I'm going to pull out a mask to incorporate a little bit of mixed media, and in trying to be lazy in the way I use the mask, I've actually made more work for myself. Anyway, I'm just going to pause now because this is where Lorens pops in, just as I'm marking up my pencil marks to where I'm going to put the stencil, and we'll hear what he has to say. I love it. Oh, it's on quite shiny paper as well.
You gave it to me.
I didn't realise it was shiny. How cool is that? Thank you. I love it. And I love how you've made an extra little...
The 2 extras.
2 extra little ones.
Tall and small.
Look. You are fun. And isn't he just so fun? I love the way he just gave me that picture there of the top that he was wearing 7 years ago. So obviously we've got that in Pride of Place, and I'll probably scrapbook that one day soon in its own right. But for now anyway, let's go back to this stencil. So I've marked up in just really light pencil so that I've got an idea as to where I want the stencil to lie. And like I say, I was layering up all these bits of paper around it in a kind of lazy fashion. I could have just masked it or something cleverer. Anyway, and I've pulled out this Heidi Shine Mist in a very lime green. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a dragon green. I love it. And that came in the kit. I'm sure it did. I would have bought it anyway, easily. And it doesn't spray perfectly through the mask when you do it this way. I'm sure there's a technique. The stars aren't as crisp as they perhaps could have been. But if I'd have really wanted crisp stars, I suppose I should have used texture paste, and I just didn't fancy that for whatever reason that night. So there we are. We have the positions of the stars, and I think I quite like that. And then because it also matches in with the sketch challenge, that's kind of some splatter marks in the sketch, and in the 3rd place where the sketch challenge kind of calls for some maybe splatter or some sort of detail, I'm going to pull out the rub-ons, and I think that's what I'm just going to grab now. Oh no, not before I put down the chevron washi tape, of course. I really love chevron. don't use it quite often enough, but I think I like the fact that the black and white, which is quite bold, really just kind of emulates the black and white stripes in some way on Lorens's top there of that owl. So yeah, I'm just deliberating over the left corner. Oh, actually I'm not, am I? I'm pulling out another page Evans paper and that's really lovely, bright and cheerful, and I'm just going to let it peep out the edges there for some extra colour. I think that's what I was thinking in my head, that the layout could do with just a little pop of extra colour. I like that. And then I kind of glue it down before thinking about what I'm going to put in the bottom left corner, but with a little kind of a jig I managed to get the rub-ons under there. I'm talking completely out of sync to what I do next, aren't I? So I found the alphas that came in the kit, and they're slightly glittery thickers, and they're really gorgeous actually. I did contemplate the green ones underneath, but they didn't work quite so well as this. I've called it Tawoo. It's the second part of Twit, and it's just for fun. I could have called it anything, but that's what I've decided to call it, because the picture on his t-shirt is a bit of an owl, and then I like the kind of floral piece there just to underlay the alpha T, and I'm going to rub that on with the popsicle stick. Love that word, popsicle. Really yeah, fun, bright and cheery, isn't it? Anyway, so we don't call them popsicles, of course, in the UK, unless we want to, which I have now started to do for lollies. Anyway, so I've decided that those hearts that were kind of stuck in that motif could be separate, and I put them exactly where I wanted to put them. As you can see, just rubbing those quickly in 3 places. And I'm also going to later on find a couple of extra larger hearts from that. I think it was Amy Tan rub-ons. And I'm going to put those down the bottom right. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about the layout. I've kept a lot of white space because, of course, that's not my natural, but I'm really trying to go for white space these days, and Laura Rumble is the master at it. So I've followed her sketch fairly closely. Maybe the pictures are slightly larger, but yeah, I really love the kind of crispness that it's come out with. And I'm just going to read the slightly tiny bit of journaling that I did manage to put on there. And there isn't much to say because really these were just pictures for picture's sake. But it does say, little Lorens, just 5 months old and becoming much more the day owl. Okay. So, yep. And just reminding everybody what the year was. So that's 09. And then I'm going to scribble down the edge that it was May. And then write my journaling in. And that's completing my layout for you today. So thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!